Hello and welcome to the grand finals of the FOB HQ 1v1 custom maps tournament for the month of April. Today we're playing on the custom map
Drovyanaya.
and we've got Icarus playing 7th East German going up against Skiffik playing 79Y Soviet. So pretty cool map. I've never seen it before, so don't ask me. But basically, it seems there's a big hill here. But most of the fighting is going to happen around this central area. Very cool map. You can download it in the description. It's free. It's a custom map made by Kel. I believe this one actually was made by Kel, as opposed to the other one, which was made by Silver. So this is a +2, this is a +2, and then these are +1. So I think this is going to be a pretty brutal fight, actually, because all the zones are here. Nobody's getting to the +3s. So we've got Icarus on the left, and he's opening with all these units. And we've got Skiffik on the right, opening with all these units. So let's get on with the game. So I'd like to take the time to thank the generous channel. So yeah, let's see how this one goes, guys. My money's on Icarus not winning, just simply because I think his div is worse, and I don't think he's played as much as Skiffik. But yeah, so something interesting here is that 7th Panzergren does get airborne forward deployment in the form of the Spezialaufklärer, and he's chosen not to bring them. And they're basically the only reason to ever bring 7th over 9th, so I'm very, very surprised by that. Thank you, this one is indeed made by Kel. So we got a bit of a barrel here towards centre from the left, and a couple supporting units to Elena. On the right, we've got a couple guys going for Dmitry. Not sure where this Razvedka's going. And you'll notice that he's not actually brought it in the KPVT truck. So classic Skiffik opener, 3 recon helos, and Icarus has decided to just kind of tank it. That's a big waste of Cub missiles, I would say. This would have killed that without the Cub missiles. So big waste of Cub missiles. The fact that he actually had this in his deck and didn't buy it at the start is actually really surprising, because he could have killed all 3 of those at the start if he'd bought this at the start. And if he knew he was going to do it, why didn't he buy it at the start? Anyway, they die now, but he could have made things a little bit easier for himself. So we're really going to be forced to sort of pick a side here, because of the way, like, otherwise we're just reaching over and you'll miss things here. So big blob of Icarus coming into center here, which isn't in the center, and he's secured the important building. Quite a wide open kind of space. I think this does help T-72s a bit, in that the ranges are actually not that big. So there's actually very few ranges where you need max range here, but it looks like Icarus has basically been collapsed out of these two, and he's just going straight for center. TO-55 eating the rounds there. T-72M's actually at 3 evac. He could have fired another round there before evacing. The main problem he's got is that I don't think he can actually see this, but we can check. He can't see it. So this is not great, because he's being shot sort of from 2 sides. What? Alright, whatever. TO-55 goes down. Icarus isn't losing tanks, which is important. His tanks are actually surviving. He's managed to secure this, but he's lost this one. Something's been pinged. Skiffik sees the Conkers, probably because it shot and whiffed something. SPW-70 is being taken out here. And Skiffik, he's trying to send his guys a bit wider. But overall, I mean, Icarus has got less than 1 zone, and Skiffik has 3. Well, one of them's a +2. This is the +2. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously this is closer to the spawn, because there's no actual thing here. But it is kind of weird that I'm not sure if there's a good side or a bad side, right? This is the first time I've seen this map. But the +2 here is close to the spawn. The +1 here is close to the spawn. So if I was Icarus, I probably would have gone down here. But if you do that, then you risk... Because obviously once the enemy gets to here, you're basically boned, right? Because this is your one road out of spawn. Unless you want to come all the way down here. So I think what Skiffik will do now, or at least what I would do if I was in his position, is get like a BRDM2 Conkers up to here, and there you go, problem solved. Icarus can't reinforce anymore. So it is a bit of a weird one, that this is a +1 and this is the +2, and I don't know. Maybe this spawn should be here. I've literally got no idea, man. I've played it 0 times, so I don't want to be one of these guys who's like, the map's bad. You literally not played it. Will you do another South Ag reading? Yes, I will. I'm very behind. I do apologize. It's just I'm just behind on everything. I'm too behind now. But yeah, I will do it because it gets loads of views. Also, it's actually reasonably fun. It does take ages though. So double T72 in the forest should really eat this for breakfast. You see, it only does 1 damage. The main problem is that it stuns you, and then it gets you all low cohesion and stuff. But being max vet means their cohesion, well, this cohesion will come back pretty fast actually. They do get that kill, and then these should die. Double Spetsnaz Gru going down there. So Icarus, I think he's winning on trades, but it looks like this one hit. And this one missed, which makes sense because it's low cohesion, and this is high cohesion. So I think Icarus is winning on trades, but Skiffik's got, like, all the zones. I do like this from Icarus, though, because if he can cut these reinforcement roads, then he's going to get some kills. And the RPG here is not insignificant. But yeah, it's sort of a weird situation. He's now bought a Special Aufklärer, which... Isn't that what you want at the start? It's basically the equivalent to the Spetsnaz Gru that that 79Y gets. Pioneer Flams, you don't see these very often. TO55 beats T72s. They actually both died here. Might have something to do with low cohesion making them slower, or maybe he just decided to fight. Has this got rockets? It's got 1. This Razvedka BMP2 has had a lot of value. Wow. Look at that. Oh, it misses. Okay. Even so... This is going to shoot again. Okay, so he smokes there. This CV is behind those buildings. Losing these 2 tanks here was really bad news. Icarus's infantry is a lot better than Skiffik's. But Skiffik's tanks are better. And Skiffik's recon is better. Like these Razvedka BMP2s are absolutely cracked. Yeah. What could I say? What the Sigma? So, trying to get behind that. Ooh, I guess this smoke saved him. He's trying to get a repair up to it. But the T80, 1 T80BV backed by all the TO55. 79Y is a very, very strong division. And just keep in mind that Icarus is fighting over a +1, whereas this is the +2. So he is trying to work his way over here now. But that's not a nice road. And Skiffik basically starts in the forest, which cuts both ways, actually. So if Icarus got a Panzerjäger, who knows if it's in the deck, and just got it to here... then everybody's dying, right? So it is something to think about. Really interesting crossfights here over these zones. Because, I mean, the LOS tool is obviously an approximation, but it seems that they can see between these buildings. Skiffik actually gets out here with his TO55, which is pretty impressive. Icarus, I mean, he's got 5 minutes to sort this out. It's really not looking great, I gotta tell you. So this thing is really useful against those helicopters. You should have evac left. You're not getting out of there. Not versus a MiG-29, because it's so much faster. I'm itching my face again. I really need to stop doing this. I don't understand what's wrong with me. And double Cubs, route this, don't get a kill. They are next for CV, which you'd assume would help. And honestly, Icarus, he needs this. Like, literally right now. There's actually nobody there. So once these T-72s show up, you would hope that maybe this CV could do something. In the meantime, Skiffik using the BTRs there gets taken out. Really interesting to see these high-level games, just how cutthroat they are in terms of... Because if you watch low-level players play, they just sit around do nothing for 10 minutes, whereas these games, they end quickly, and a lot of that is because people click faster. So, Spetsnaz grew 75 points, 6 strength, you know, GSR, etc, etc, etc. And these guys are 75 points, 6 strength, GSR, etc, etc. The Spetsnaz grew are better because the RPG is better, and the ASVAL beats the AK-74U, because look down here at the accuracy. So the Spetsnaz Gru are better. Special Aufklärer used to be absolute mensch, and then they got reworked by these historical accuracy guys. Like, no, it was actually rubbish in real life, and there you go, it's gone. Many such cases, I'm afraid. But yeah, I think the T-72s in this part of the map do give you an advantage, because you get more of them and you can do more cool stuff. But I think Skiffik is sort of winning the micro game here. Like, look at that. How ballsy is that? Okay, so that was cool, but now that's dead because of this. But he got the T80 BV, so I guess it was worth it. And he obviously didn't know this was happening. So Icarus investing in T72. He's got this, and now he needs to go for this one. Right? This is obviously where Skiffik is playing. And it's really interesting to see how completely different this is to the game I played against Skiffik. Because the game I played, he just played really wide and just blobbed around. Whereas here, Icarus has managed to drag him into this prolonged fight. And that's bad news, isn't it? And in that case, the 7th has the advantage. Because it can play wider. It gets lots and lots of tanks. 9th would be better, like. But, oh, no. Oof, okay, so he's just eating it. No recon, no need apparently. But once this gets around to here, this is dead. So Icarus trying to plug the gap. Gets that tank. Gonna take this zone. Doesn't seem to know that there's nothing here. But how would you unless you walk over there? He did try and send a recon. It got burnt to death by TO55. I'm very good, Light. I hope you're well as well. This is the grand finals of the tournament. He didn't finish capping this. I guess he's... Well, I guess it beats being dead. But yeah, he didn't finish capping that. And now he's getting guys here. He should rotate this way. Obviously, we have perfect vision. He can't see what we see. He is actually winning the straight-up fight. And this is really surprising. Okay, well, yeah. I was going to say, because he's being shot at on two sides, and he's not got any recon. And then he lost that unit. So... he needs a BRDM-1 or a BRDM-2, BRM-1 or a BRDM-2. Good shot there. And Skiffik, you know, withdrawing. Icarus, he's got the CV from the Cubs, and now he sent this to go guard the Cubs. Could move the Cubs up, but there's a lot of, like... So if I was Skiffik, which I'm not, I'd have a BRDM-2 Conkers here. And it would just be shooting, and then, you know, and then I'd run off, and then I'd come back, and then I'd run off, and then I'd come back, and there'd be one around here shooting, right? This is a really big problem. And if I was Icarus, I mean, obviously it's so easy to say these things, it's so hard to do them, but I would have, you know, mot shots and BTR all the way around here, or shoot everybody on this road, or I guess this is the actual spawn, you know, so shoot everybody on this road, and I'd just be doing that constantly, Panzerjäger, whatever. As it stands, Icarus, he stopped the tick, and my face is just so itchy, bro. I don't know what the hell's up with it. I drink lots of water, you know, I'm a healthy guy. But yeah, Icarus, he stopped the tick, and Skiffik's on the back foot here, but Icarus, he's got to make sure he doesn't overextend, because that's something that happens a lot. You see a unit withdrawing on 1 HP, and you're like, I need it, and then you die. Like that. So yeah, like, you're attacking with 2 HP units, you know, slow down, chill out. You're winning. But he's not. He's not slowing down. He's not chilling out. But he should win the infantry fight. He's put a bunch of stuff down here. But he doesn't see what we see. So here we go. He's going to start seeing now. Presumably this is coming around here to shoot. No. Okay. It looks like he's going to run out of fuel soon. And yeah, Icarus is overextending here. Skiffik's fallback line's pretty impressive, right? This guy doesn't die. This guy doesn't die, you know, whereas Icarus, he's losing his units, and Skiffik, he's doing a counter push now. I do wonder if he had 2 cards of this in his deck. Otherwise, he should only have 4. I've seen a lot die. But Icarus, he's coming through for this, and there's not really anything stopping him. Having said that, he is losing in the middle. So he's bought some BMP-1s, another Pioneer Flam. Maybe they're better than I give them credit for, but yeah, you see the power of these. They're really good, especially now that they get the same vet curve as the... I mean, that was a big mistake. He should not have gotten out of that, really. And he doesn't. So that was very ballsy, and it just was not worth it. That is a mistake. And this is what we were talking about playing too much ranked. If he only played tournament games all day, he wouldn't have done that. But in ranked, it might work. See you do it. Anyway, Icarus, he solved his recon situation, especially if he gets this up to here. He'll have vision on all this. He's got this round here. Having this in the open is a bit ballsy, but he takes out the BMP-1P, and there's no way this can stop this. So he's going to take this zone, and this is a +1, and then he'll get a tick. So Icarus, he's starting to bring it back, although he's really thin in the middle. And you see how Skiffik's got this concave shape here? It means anybody here gets shot from multiple angles. Obviously, a tank isn't going to get shot so much by a Saperi RPO, but it's the thought that counts. And, and so here we go. T80BVK being hit by the Motshotson. It's going to smoke him back. The Motshotson only do like 1 damage per shot. And because of the dumb way this game works, this goes backwards faster than these go forwards in the forest. Because that's how it works in real life. Oh, he shows side armor. He misses. Anyway, I think he got side shot again there. This is starting to get a bit not great. If he'd just gone straight back, he would have been fine. But he tried to be funny, and he's not having a great time. So Saperi RPO should just get absolutely cleaned out by the T-72. But does Icarus know that there's no infantry in there? This guy's going to get out, and it's so frustrating. And you're like, I need the kill. Last shot Ramirez. Damn. Down it goes. So that was a good one. And, you know, 60% accuracy, whatever. And this is alive, even though... So he knows it's there. Does he? Well, yeah, I mean, it's shooting now. But so we got a cheeky give me a morphium yet there. That gets sent back. And because of the way this map works, it'll be back in 10 minutes. It could come around here. Very open map. And both players are just being funneled into this death zone in the middle rather than sending... You know, what happened to the Skiffik 2 looks, you know? What happened to the Skiffik 2 looks? So Icarus on a +2, and it's been an incredible turnaround. And Skiffik is still very much in this game, although Icarus's lack of forces in the middle has now been solved, and his lack of recon in the middle has now been solved. What I would say is his Cubs need to move a little bit further up, but it's not the end of the world, and he's got no Shorad. And there's the Shorad, Strela 10M. So it just goes to show, they call it convergent evolution, right? You know, we're both peak gamers. I'm obviously the world #1. And so we come to the same conclusions at the same time. So Skiffik, he's trying to get back in here with T80 BVs, but I think eventually the fact that 7th gets so much more infantry is going to show here. In fact, it is already showing. The Saperi RPO, you know, once they die, they're not coming back. This man has 1 HP. That was very ballsy. And Icarus, he's feeding. He needs to stop feeding. You're on a +2, Icarus. Stop feeding. All he's got to do is, you know, push, get into this. There you go, problem solved. You don't, and push this back. You don't want to be getting too silly. Anyway, Motshotson do beat Motorstrelki. They are more expensive, but they're much better because they've got this Resolute tag, which makes them better. And they've got 2 MGs, which makes them better. And the MGs are 7.62, which makes them better. And the RPG is the same. And that's going to die now. A little bit of a miss micro here from Icarus if he went a couple meters forwards there. Although, he's probably a bit worried about this. As it stands, Skiffik, he wants to take this back. He's got the Razvedka still here. Icarus doesn't have too much here. But, you know, if he just sits here, like, what is Skiffik supposed to do about that? I guess he can just break it just by putting in 10 million T80 BVs. So the game's still going on. Very exciting finals. Sponsored by water. And, yeah, Icarus, he's still buying the T-72Ms. I can only imagine how horrifying this would be if he managed to get 9th in there. I'm not sure about this one either, but there you go. He's getting the kills, and if the T-72s get to here, this push doesn't work, right? Because you come across the field and you get shot in the side. But then they do see it. That one will engage. It's engaging, so the question is, you know, does Skiffik react to that? Does Icarus react to that? Is he even looking? He's reacting. This guy's still not reacting. Double Cubs out. Double cluster. Goes down. 2 shots, 2 hits. Massive whiff because it assumed these were going full barrel down there and they stopped as soon as the bombs came off. That's the problem with high altitude bombers. So there you go. The CV next to the Cubs. The CV next to the Cubs. And they got some misses before. Obviously not the greatest thing ever for Skiffik, but honestly, I'd be surprised if that one made it out. It might have got the bombs off. Well, it got the bombs off anyway. So this one needs to smoke them back. Will it get out of there? It does. The Motshotson are caught out. They need to withdraw. At least this one does. Don't think there's time for that, though. He's bringing the diversity one. I'm very surprised by this. I think it's crap. But hey, I didn't make it to the finals. So, so Icarus manages to take out a T-72M there. Sorry, loses one, and the TABV command tank goes down. That's huge. That's actually colossal. He's using the CV tank. I mean, he's got brass balls, this man. The T-72's here, though. They collapse in the center because he's real... Oh, double cluster! It didn't drop its bombs and evac. I zoomed in and everything. Where's Biggie Dums? Biggie Dumbs, bro, I zoomed in for the epic cluster, and it was a single cluster, not a double cluster. But it could have got a double kill. So yeah, big sad. That could have died, I guess. But man, what a turnaround from Icarus. At the start of the game, I said 79Y is better, but I was wrong. It is better overall, but on this map, I think the T-72s are just taking the day, because the disadvantage of the T-72, right, is that it's really GG. So so the winner of the FOB HQ 1v1 for the month of May is this anime boy. This anime boy here called Icarus. I think that's based off a game. There's a game called Kid Icarus, and he sort of looks like that. And Icarus, a good player, you know, 1,000, not as many games as I thought actually. But yeah, good player. Skiffik currently the rank 1. So Icarus taking the W there. And that was a really good game. I thought Skiffik would win that. And at the start I said 79Y is the better div, and I was proven wrong over the course of the game. 79Y is the better div overall, but the advantage of 79Y, right, and we'll go back through the draft, Tiberius, I've got it. The advantage of 79Y is that its tanks outrange the T-72s. So you look at the T-72M1, T-72M1, and you compare it to the T-80BV. So the T-80BV has the max range gun, which means that at the same range it does 1 more penetration. The advantage of the T-72M1 is that it's cheaper. It's literally like 90 points cheaper. What the fuck? Icarus is not a low-ranked player. He's just, I don't know if he's reset his thing or what, but he is a very good player. And that was a really, really good game. I'd actually like to see it again. Hopefully they upload the replay. I just want to check a couple of things. But basically, the advantage of the T-80BV is that it can survive a Conker's side hit, whereas a T-72M1 can't. And it's got the longer range, and it's got the ATGM. That's what you're paying for. The question on everybody's mind is the T-72 underpriced? It depends entirely on what map you're on and so on. That map was just cutthroat knife fights for the whole thing. And so the T-72 has a big advantage there. And yeah, it's very cheap. Like Samir said there, it's very cheap. It's got significantly less fire rate. That's something I didn't speak about. 10 ROF is a pretty big deal with higher accuracy. But at close ranges, the T-72M1 wins. Now, the thing with 7th Panzergren is if you're on a map like Vertigo, you actually struggle to get in those ranges because so you don't get any self-propelled mortars, and these aren't very good for smoking. So you need to cross this really big gap to close range with the T-80BV and take him down with your more cost-efficient tanks, right? Your more available tanks, your more cost-efficient tanks. But here we saw that because it was like one big forest with a few clearings, the T-72s, the T-80BV had less opportunities to use its superior range. We saw a couple times at the beginning the Razvedka BMP2, the T-80BV getting those kills, but as soon as Icarus managed to get around the sides, he just ate him for breakfast because he was basically bringing 1.5 tanks for every tank that Skiffik brought, and you're going to win that fight. And Skiffik couldn't keep the distance. A lot of it was because of the map, really. So I thought that was really cool. That was a really good final. Most of you are probably going to disappear now, but I want to watch that replay. I want to see what happened again. And they said something about Warno tournament replays. They've not uploaded it. Please, could you upload the replay, please? So yeah, that's something. And Tiberius asked about the draft. Let's talk about the draft. So this was the draft. Icarus was player 1. I'll show you the rules. Why would you just wait for this replay, right? So player 1, coin flip, player 1 bans 5, player 2 bans 5, player 1 picks faction, player 2 picks faction, player 1 picks division, player 2 picks division. And player 1 was Icarus, so he got first pick. And Icarus banned 56Y, 35Y, 4E, 2nd UK, 119Y. Skiffik banned 101st Airborne, 20th Polish, 1st UK, 9th Panzer, 9th Moto. So the only remaining T-72 div was 7th, which is why we ended up with 7th there. So I think this will be my replay. And Icarus picked 7th, and then Skiffik picked 79Y. So I would have thought, I don't know. I mean, thank you. So we're just downloading the replay, which means we have to restart the game. I just want to see a couple of things. I mean, obviously, you guys, you can do what you like. So I'm just restarting the game. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy game. It was a really good game. And it was just Icarus noticing that there was just nothing on his flank and just walking in. Like, there was only a few things there, and then eventually just the T-72 mass. But it looked really close. It looked like Skiffik was gonna edge that out. But there you go. You know, there's always room for improvement, right? Where was the smoke? Nobody used any smoke mortars. I always buy one, and then I lose anyway. But it's the thought that counts. And yeah, Icarus does reset his account. I want to lick that nose. Okay, cool. Is it a flex if I voted right in the poll? Yeah, because most people, including me, thought Icarus was going to lose that. It was 61% to Skiffik and 39% to Icarus. So this is the replay. Pretty cool map. I mean, in terms of sides, we've seen one game on it, so we can't really judge. Having said that, having this big open gap here, not fantastic. And I'm really surprised Skiffik didn't try and abuse that, especially given, you know, we know how he likes to play from his game versus us. He likes the recon units going around the sides and everything. This map's really good for that, but he didn't do any of that. He played a heavier div, doesn't really get those opportunities. But one BRDM2 infantry, recon around here, maybe. One BRDM2 conquers to here, you know, that sort of thing. So Icarus took the decision to not open with Spezial Aufklärer and just open with regular Aufklärer. And what you see going on here is that these guys are not bringing the ones with the guns. And neither is Skiffik. So for 30 points, you get one with a KPVT. I'm not showing the map. I'm regarded, I do apologise. Do I believe Broken Arrow will be better than Warno when it released? I personally prefer Warno. I think Broken Arrow will sell better and be the more popular game because it is geared towards the more casual audience, and they've done a pretty good job of doing that. Right, so this is the replay. We're speaking about this big gap here. So the big gap here, right, I don't know about that. And the fact is that red comes in on his +2, whereas blue comes in on his +1. So I'm not sure. Like I said, I've literally not played it. We've seen one game on this, so let's not jump to conclusions. But just from a casual observer, I'd rather be on red side. Having said that, so we spoke about how red could have got some BRDM2 Conkers around here and sniped all the reinforcements coming in, but he chose not to. Did you notice not a single one of neither of them? No, hang on. Skiffik bought a Cluster 2 bomber. Don't think Icarus bought a bomber for the whole game. So here you go with the triple recon. So the thing is, right, Icarus knew this was going to happen because he put the MiG-21 Bison AA in his deck, and Skiffik always does this. And so I'm surprised he didn't open with the MiG-21 BIS AA and just kill him at the start. Instead, he let him scout his entire deployment. Lost two. So look, here it comes, and it kills them both. So why didn't he buy that at the start? Having said that, 145 points is, you know, one of these and a supply vehicle, right? 145 points is two of these and this. So maybe he just figured, well, I just have to let him do it. Maybe he was right. Oh, he bought a... Yes, exactly. He bought a cluster mortar. That was... yes, my bad. He did buy a cluster cluster plane that didn't drop its bombs. So Osa there takes out the MI2. Osas were buffed. They come at, like, higher availability now. And I think their range went up by 1. So they're pretty chunky now. They used to be quite expensive and stuff. And the argument was because of their speed... which is, you know, if you're so super cool, maybe you can take advantage of that. And then, so this is what we're talking about. So these actually are almost always in range. if you attack from literally here to here, this has the range advantage. But otherwise, the T-72 is the better pick because they look at that. It's always in range. The only reason it couldn't see it was because it didn't have vision. Because right there, he can't see this. He can't see this. He can't see anything. So he's losing stuff, and this is I thought it was donezoed, right? So Skiffik, he did a good job of going around the sides here, because Icarus, he just didn't put too much here. It was all here, and frankly, maybe it had to be, but I think my nose is really itchy, and you know, it makes sense. Blob, circular, blob your way around, cut down the range advantage, but he's still kind of fighting in the open here, and these two units got a lot of value at the start of the game. Over here, you know, Icarus, he doesn't have so many units, and maybe, honestly, obviously hindsight's 2020, we have full vision, but I think Icarus should have sent his original T-72 blob round here. Having said that, then the T-80BV would be shooting you down this road, but there's more to hide behind here, the distance is closer, and this is the +2, whereas that's the +1. This is a nice idea, but the game's way too mobile for this to work, basically. Maybe a BRDM2 Conquers here would have worked better. So it's got the same stealth, now that forests and buildings now have the same stealth modifier. Used to be that buildings had a better stealth modifier, now they're both 3. And so this just gets beaten up, whereas like a BRDM2 Conquers could, I don't know, maybe... actually, that'd just die in one hit to a T-80BV, so maybe there's no saving it, really. But yeah, I thought Skiffik did the right thing here, and then he basically just didn't defend this enough. And eventually... So right now, Skiffik's winning, right? He's sort of got his setup in that this is the +2, this is the +2, this is his front line. So that's great. That's where you want to be. Over here, it's sort of, you know, it's anybody's game. Obviously, this is about to explode, presumably. And yeah, the T-72's in the forests against, you know, 15 pen. But yeah, oh yeah, this was a really funny one, right? So look, 15 pen, but 277 suppression. And because they're so close to each other, they're both taking suppression from the same thing. So this guy, he dies, and, you know, that could have not happened. But then these just miss every single shot, because why would they hit? They're low cohesion. So he tries to smoke him back, and I'm pretty sure these just run in and kill him. Because he's really slow, because he's low cohesion, which makes you slower. And yeah, the T-80BV's here, like, this is sort of, you know, Skiffik's high point. Like, he's got this there, he almost gets that. I think he did end up getting this. And yeah, these are dying. That goes down. These are dying. They're reversing. But what? It's just they just keep missing because they're low cohesion. So some of it is bad luck, right? But the fact of the matter is, this has 75% of 60% accuracy. So 50%'s 30. It's got 15% accuracy. So, you know, you're gonna miss. And this Razvedka BMP2 getting a load of value there, gets a hit there, then this hits it, and these do go down there. So yeah, this is when I was sort of calling it, and I just did that to build tension. Obviously, I knew I was going to win. I'm the world #1 Warno player, but yeah, Icarus fighting in the one place where he doesn't have the advantage is probably not great, right? I think these should have come round here. I guess they wouldn't have been engaging as soon, but if you get to here and then you start shooting this, well, then you're going to win. There's more of you. But as long as he's trying to fight this max range engagement, he's not going to win. Having said that, he is in range there. It's mainly because he just can't see this, because he doesn't have any recon. Because the Avclair has died at the start. So, Motshotson beat Motorstrelky. Even if this is 2 vet, right, the fact of the matter is this is Resolute. Oh, wow, this has got the SVD as well. An SVD is like 2 machine guns. This is like 4 machine guns. So this is like 30 machine guns, like 2 rifles. So this is like 13 rifles, right? Whereas the Motorstrelky is like 8. So, Motshotson are going to win that. I guess the only place to exploit the T-80's range is in that open space close to Icarus' spawn. Yeah, here, I suppose, yeah. But, like, this one avenue is basically the best place for the T-80BV. And I think if Icarus had sort of not played his game and come round here, he would have been alright. But then that means most of his guys aren't engaging. And this thing just evaporates helicopters. It's very good. And then he should have turned in to face it. I mean, he would have died anyway, really. This thing's really good, but he wasn't getting out of there, especially when this came in. Anyway, double Cubs, they get their misses, but they're stacking up. They're stacking up their RNG for later, and he doesn't move these. But you'll notice there's not a single artillery piece on the map, right? There's not a single bomber on the map. And that's because... So Icarus can't afford to buy that. If he buys that, he loses, because he's so far behind right now. The enemy's on a +5. And Skiffik can't afford to buy that because he needs to maintain his lead. And the game's not mobile. But, you know, even one smoke mortar. Imagine if you got one smoke mortar and you're good, right? Better than me. Then with one of those infantry that were here and all got picked off, you just smoke here, move between the buildings, smoke here, move between the buildings, kill this, and if he runs away, you just hide behind this one with the cover, you know, turn off cover and just hide behind that, and now he can't get a CV in there. So it's that sort of thing, really. But yeah, 2 1-vet guy, 2 1 HP guys, 3 1 HP guys, and these are all dying. They're also running through the fire that the Pioneer Flam caused, which is actually hurting them. Hopefully it dies so I can be right on the internet. Yeah, you see how his cohesion's definitely going down, right? Anyway, so Icarus takes this back, and that sort of will slow down the tick, right? He'll be a +1 after he caps that. T-72s, you know, just being overwhelmed. Like, Skiffik's position here was really kind of robust. It was really good. I'm not sure what happened to all these units, which is my fault. I should have paid more attention. Skiffik had guys here. I guess they all died. I guess Mott Schützen killed them. Wasn't there a T-80BV in here? Anyway, so Icarus, he gets... So, this is what we were talking about. Skiffik's there, and he's like, they're all 1 HP! All 3 of them are on 1 HP! I'm gonna fight! And then he dies, right? So this is... It's very, very, very frustrating. But you got to get out of that habit. You got to be like, I don't want this to die, I'm gonna leave. But it's very, very difficult to do that. Anyway, this guy just dies crossing the road. And you see how fast he dies here. I mean, he gets set on fire, so that's obviously not fantastic. So these are really good. Regular T-55s as well are really good. They also got buffed to, like, 8 ROF base, which, I mean, okay. But they're very good now. Anyway, no recon still, right? No recon, no recon, no recon, no recon. This is shooting you, you can't shoot back. Well, hey. But I guess he's just got the numbers game. I did like his supply gameplay as well, although I think this one's about to die. In general, he was keeping his guys not dead. And so... Oh, no, this one gets in. And yeah, no recon. And then... Okay, so we get some recon. And he didn't cap this before he left, but frankly, I guess it made sense, because this ends up dying. And so if he'd waited even a second longer, this might have died. So that's what we're talking about. Sometimes you got to cut your losses. And then we got the 40-72s coming in here, and even if they don't have recon, they're going to win that fight, right? But that gets side shot because of this this ATGM. It was hedging its bets there, so it was facing that, as it should have really been facing that, because this has 17 pen. He would have survived. He's got 6 armor. He would have lost half his HP, basically, something like that. And then the T-72s get here. And then it's starting to look very, very bad for Skiffik, right? Because he does have the advantage in people, but the main risk for Icarus now is overextending, and he does do a little bit of overextending. Like this, you know, misses its shots, and you're like, I need that kill. I've got him on the ropes. I need the kill. I'm gonna get the kill. And then you see what I mean, right? So it's just one of those things. We all make the mistake. 90% of gabblers quit before they hit big. Yeah, I suppose so. But yeah, I really do think 1 BRDM2 Conquers here would have been very, very useful for Skiffik. 75-point investment, cut the reinforcements, right? Especially once he took this, right? If he had this here, they wouldn't... Well, okay, I suppose there's a big hill there. Yeah, maybe that's not so useful. But I suppose it would have to be here. But, you know, these guys haven't played this map that much, and we've got perfect vision, and we don't have to control everything. We can just sit here and talk about it. So, what could Skiffik have done, though? Gone more infantry heavy? I think... It's a good question. I think you're right. Well, you know, I also had this idea of having a BRDM2 Conquers over here would have been good. But in general, I think Icarus outdrafted him, to tell you the truth. Like, this was not a good idea. Like, Skiffik, at this point, is still in the game. He's still in the game, right? But I guess he counter pushes way too fast. But no, in general, I think Skiffik could have bought a helicopter here, although it would have just, no, because he bought one and the MiG-21 BIS just dove it, so he needs fighters for that. In general, I don't know. I think Skiffik overextended a little bit in this forest. Like, once he took this, he could have just sat there and just held. And I don't know, because he lost a lot of his guys in Icarus's counterattack. But generally, I think Icarus had the better div, even though at the start I said he didn't. It's clear now, having seen the game, that the T-72s are just much better than the T-80BVs in this kind of environment. Which I should have predicted, really, but, you know, hindsight. Imagine having SIGINT on this map. Yeah, maybe, but it's like, can you move fast enough for that to matter? I suppose it would, like, if this was a SIGINT thing, for example, this would know where this is, I suppose, but you'd have to send it round the sides and triangulate and stuff, and frankly, this game moved extremely quickly, so you gotta be much better at SIGINTing than me. You know, there's a bit of misplay here, like this could be behind this. This is actually a tall building, I did not know about that, and that's got GSR, so now the recon problem is solved, and he knows all about all this. But yeah, Skiffik could have withdrawn more, I guess. And then he tried coming back in here. I mean, this is a +2, right? That's +1. Okay. I don't know. Just a couple BRDM2 Conkers here, and maybe an AA piece. I don't know, it's probably your safest bet. Cut this, right? Try and cut the reinforcements. As for Icarus, he could have done the same. But generally, if you start taking stuff off the front lines, then you start losing on the front lines, right? That's one less TO-55, more or less, for one BRDM2 Conkers. I mean, this is 10 points more, but you get the point. And so, yeah, it just came down to, like, the micro and stuff. Like, so like, this, I guess, could have been, instead of trying to do this, all of this could have been here. Right? And then you could have blobbed your way back in. But it would have been an uphill battle. It would have been an uphill battle regardless. So, I don't know. I suppose Skiffik could have bought more than one Razvedka BMP2, because that thing seemed to do really well, right? Maybe another one here or something. I don't know. And once he took this, he could have, like, I don't know, like, tried to reinforce this, because if you're here, they can't get in, but generally, I think Icarus just had the better div, so... Oh, there's something close. Yeah, but you need to know where it is, right? I mean, I suppose, like, so if this was here, he'd be picking up this, when he might think it's over here. I don't know. I mean, it can work, but in the heat of battle, you've got to be very clued in. And then, yeah, so... This is another thing, right? At this point in the game... Skiffik has time. The enemy's on a +2. He's got 22 minutes until he gets to 2,000 points. That is the entire game. So he could have taken it slow and gone back to trying to take trades, gone to, like, try and snipe things. You know, imagine if he had if you've ever played against Skate on 119Y, you know exactly how this works. He's got BRDM2s all over the flipping place. And these would die. These would get shot by BRDM2. So yeah, at this point in the game, he can slow down. But it's so, from a psychological point of view, it's basically impossible to do. Well, okay, it's very difficult to do because you were winning and now you're not winning, and you're like, I gotta get it, you know. But if he just sort of pulled back a bit, right, healed up his guys, you know, obviously this isn't fantastic. He'd have to fall back quite a bit here. But I guess this is where it ended, because he was like, okay, I'll just sod this, right? Also, Motostrelki BTR get 20 pen. This can be quite useful. It's got less range, but yeah, I suppose here he could have had these here, but then these would just be here, so would it make a difference? I don't know. I feel like... I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. Like, obviously he's got to try something. But imagine if all this was here, and then that was not a good idea. He knew about the two Cubs because they'd shot his MiG-29 before, and so that's like a minute's income gone. And so this is the big push across an open field with T-72s on one side and T-72s on the other side. Icarus is moving to intercept. And yeah, so like if all of this had been like here, it might have worked. But I mean, just in general, the T-72s just winning the fight at these ranges, right? It's going to be uphill no matter what. But like this was really it, right? That cluster bomber losing over a minute's income to get nothing, and then the CV tank here dies, and then that's it basically, and that's where he called it. But at this point, you could say, well, the mistakes have really already been made. Where are all of Red's units? Like, look, he's losing everything. This didn't drop its bombs because of the smoke pop. It then lost vision, I guess. That died, and so, I don't know. Maybe you guys have some better ideas. And yeah, exactly, the T-72 does have the advantage here, and that's just always going to make it an uphill struggle. So I suppose Icarus picked the better div. So I was wrong at the start there. So that's it. That's the game. I hope you enjoyed that.